tea really quick. Because that's how we learn. We just learn through asking questions and getting hands-on demos and getting tutorials. And I mean, I've worked with so many people who are really not quite confident in this part of themselves, and I think part of the lack of confidence just simply comes from not engaging in experiences with somebody that is exploratory and experimental and is offers guidance in these ways. And so it's interesting too. I've been in one of Esther Perel's relationship trainings for almost 2 years now, and she has all these modules on so many, just a magnificent range of topics having everything to do with sensuality and pleasure and intimacy and desire and sexuality. And this woman came on and she was talking about the whole module was on pain during sex, and she was talking about how there's a correlation for women who orgasm and women who don't, that the women who are able to orgasm more easily are also very comfortable talking about sex in general and talking about what they like and what they need and talking about their bodies, and that there's a direct correlation with women that feel more confident and comfortable in this part of themselves and expressing, speaking, and the ability to have orgasms. And I think that makes so much sense because there is an energetic link between our genitals and our womb and our voice. I mean, like for instance, typically women, like when they're on their feminine cycle, their menstrual cycle, and like feeling a lot of like maybe cramping or energy moving, it helps really to like moan and just to kind of like release some of the energy, and just like moan and let it out. When women are, experiencing sexual stimulation, typically we want to open our voice and let energy move, like certainly in childbirth. There's a lot happening in the genitals during childbirth, and it's natural for a woman to want to make loud sounds, right? There is an energetic connection to the voice. And so I think that, for men, I think it's important to understand that if you happen to be coupled with a woman who doesn't really articulate and express and guide very much, there's a pretty high probability that she's never actually been just like given an experience where she just gets to be taken on a journey for her own body and her own pleasure, to learn her own pleasure map of her body. And so it's like, what does this look like? Well, I think it's about one person giving and one person receiving. And I think that offering the person receiving a chance to fully get them all comfortable and relaxed, and for the giver to just take them on a journey, meaning not going straight for the obvious and just only focusing on that one spot until a destination is reached. That specifically needs to get reprogrammed in the way that all of us approach this part of ourselves, sexuality and intimacy with another. Part of the benefit, like I was saying in the previous video, part of the benefit of planning ahead is that you can plan for like a good amount of time, plan minimum, I think 2 hours for sharing this kind of experience with your partner. But I'd say like a good 3 hours, or because it's nice to have a lot of different segments to it. And again, like what I was saying in my last video, I mean, it's not only the planning ahead and preparing yourself and preparing the space, those are all kind of like logistical things to help us transition from that high functioning, multitasking daily mode into, just real presence and connection with another person, and especially to engage in a really beautiful sensual, pleasurable experience. And then it's like you get there, you get in that moment together, and then there's a whole other bridge that is needed, a bridge of connection, you know, and that's why in the previous video I was guiding through, you know, layers of energetic connection, physical connection, sensual connection, and sexual connection. And I likened it as a flower, and this like intimacy flower where there's these external petals, and so you've got like the energetic on the outside, like a rose, right, with all the different layers. So you've got like the energetic and the physical and the sensual and the sexual being at the very center of the flower, and how important, especially for women in long-term partnerships that are domestic partnerships and certainly with children. It's really important that these outer layers of the flower, these outer petals, get stimulated and enjoyed, because when the energy is just constantly going to the center, she's going to feel a little neglected, and she's going to feel bored. She's going to feel not taken care of. She's and she's just going to shut down over time. You know, these outer layers for women especially are really, really important. I think men too, definitely. But I don't think men biologically are wired to need it as much as women do. Because all these outer layers, it's about connection. That's what builds the intimacy. And so in our culture, where most people's education comes from porn, you know, porn is not educational, it's entertainment. And, you know, it typically focuses on the man's pleasure, and it doesn't really educate on, you know, it's like in porn, you've got these women that are like, they're just like ready to go, and they're so into it, and it's just yes, yes, yes. And, you know, in real life, it takes women some steps to get there, you know, and it's important to remember too in porn, you know, not only is it entertainment, you know, I mean, those people are getting paid, those women are getting paid, you know, to make it look really good. So, you know, it can happen in life too. There's just steps that need to be in place to help support a woman to get there and open. And first of all, I mean, it really does start with the woman taking great care of herself. Women, we need to take really, really great care of ourselves. We need to prioritize self-care, and it needs to be mind, body, spirit. We have in the West, we have a very limited idea of what self-care looks like. People think like, oh, just eat right and exercise. Luckily, more and more meditation is popularized, and you know, but it really does need to be a daily thing, and mind, body, spirit triad of self-care. So it's like, it's our job first to make ourselves happy, and one of the best ways to make ourselves happy is to make ourselves healthy. It's really, really, really hard to be happy when we're unhealthy, when we're drained, when we're exhausted. It's very hard to be connected to good feelings, gratitude, a sense of play, a sense of joy when we're tired. And we need to prioritize our self-care, and that needs to be every single day, and certainly during the feminine monthly cycle. Absolutely. I'm going to be doing a whole series and online courses specifically on the monthly cycle at some point soon, because it's so important that we prioritize that self-care during that time of the month. But in terms of with our partner, you know, it's important that we understand that, first of all, most men don't have education on how to make a woman happy, you know, and it's like the biggest question that like most men have, like, how do I make women happy? And that in fact they're pretty desperate to understand and know what exactly it is, because so many men just like so deeply and so dearly and just so sweetly want to show up and give that to their woman. They want to make their woman happy. And so it's important as women that we understand that if we're with a man in partnership, chances are, just as a woman most women have never been given an experience of just being able to be taken on a journey of exploration in their body to see what they like and how they like it, and to learn and exercise that communicative skill set of guiding the other person into what they need and want. Most men haven't had any kind of education with that for women either, and certainly not for their own bodies, So part of why I'm bringing this whole series, this video series through, is to help just simply inspire